The Secret Kingdom Above the Clouds. Once upon a time, in a peaceful little town, there lived an 8-year-old boy named Ethan. Ethan loved adventures more than anything in the world. He spent his days reading books about hidden treasures, magical kingdoms, and brave explorers, but every evening, when the stars appeared, he would sit by his bedroom window and wonder, are there still magical places left to discover? One night, as a silver moon shone brightly above the town, Ethan climbed into bed and fell asleep. Suddenly, a warm golden light filled his room. Ethan opened his eyes. Floating beside his bed was a tiny glowing bird. Its feathers sparkled like diamonds. "Good evening, Ethan," chirped the bird. "My name is Sunny. The King of the Clouds has invited you on a special journey." Ethan sat up immediately. "A journey?" Sunny nodded. "The greatest adventure you've ever had." Before Ethan could answer, the room began to glow. A staircase made of clouds appeared outside his window. Step by step, Ethan climbed upward. Higher and higher he went, above the stars, above the moonlight, above everything he had ever known. At the top of the staircase stood enormous golden gates. The gates slowly opened. Beyond them lay a magnificent kingdom floating among the clouds. There were crystal castles, rainbow bridges, floating gardens, and sparkling waterfalls that poured into the sky. Ethan gasped. "It's beautiful." The bird smiled. "Welcome to the secret kingdom above the clouds." As Ethan explored the kingdom, he met many wonderful creatures. There were flying rabbits with silver wings, friendly cloud bears that bounced from cloud to cloud, tiny dragon hatchlings that sneezed glitter instead of fire. Everyone welcomed him warmly. Soon Ethan was escorted to the Cloud Palace. Inside sat King Orion, a wise old king with a beard as white as snow. The king smiled kindly. "We have been waiting for you." "For me?" asked Ethan. The king nodded. "Our kingdom is facing a problem." The king pointed toward the horizon. Far away stood a mountain made entirely of clouds. At its peak shone a giant crystal star. "That is the Heart Star," said the king. "It fills our kingdom with light and happiness." Ethan noticed something strange. The star was growing dim. "What happened?" he asked. "No one knows," replied the king sadly. "If the Heart Star loses all its light, the kingdom will disappear." The room fell silent. Then the king looked at Ethan. "We believe you can help save it." Ethan felt nervous, but he also felt brave. "I'll try." The next morning, Ethan began his quest. Sunny the bird joined him, so did a cheerful cloud bear named Marshmallow. Together they crossed rainbow bridges and floating forests. Along the way they encountered many challenges. First they reached the Whispering Woods. The trees there could talk, but they only spoke in riddles. One giant tree asked, "What becomes larger the more you share it?" Ethan thought carefully, then he smiled. "Happiness." The trees cheered and opened a hidden path. Later they crossed the Lake of Reflections. The water showed people's fears. Ethan looked into the lake and saw himself standing alone. For a moment he felt scared, but Sunny landed on his shoulder. "You are not alone." Marshmallow hugged him. Together they walked across safely. As evening approached, they reached the mountain of clouds. The climb was steep, strong winds howled around them. Several times Ethan almost slipped, but he kept going, step by step, cloud by cloud. Finally they reached the summit. The Heart Star stood before them. Its crystal surface was cracked. Only a faint glow remained. Ethan approached carefully. Then he noticed something hidden inside the crystal, a tiny shadow creature. It looked frightened and lonely, not evil, just sad. "Who are you?" Ethan asked gently. The creature looked surprised. "No one has ever asked." "My name is Shade." Shade explained that he had always lived alone in darkness. One day he had hidden inside the Heart Star because he wanted warmth and friendship, but his sadness slowly absorbed the star's light. Ethan felt sorry for him. "You don't have to be alone." Shade blinked. "Really?" "Of course." Sunny smiled, Marshmallow smiled, and for the first time, Shade smiled too. At that moment something magical happened. The crack in the Heart Star began to heal. Golden light spread through the crystal. Brighter. brighter, brighter, until the entire mountain glowed like the sun. Across the kingdom, flowers bloomed, waterfalls sparkled, rainbow bridges shone. The heart star was restored, not because someone fought a battle, not because someone used magic, but because someone chose kindness. The kingdom erupted in celebration. When Ethan returned, King Orion welcomed him as a hero. A grand festival was held, music filled the air, cloud bears danced, dragon hatchlings performed acrobatics, even Shade joined the celebration and made many new friends. As the night grew late, the king approached Ethan. "You have taught us something important." "What is that?" asked Ethan. "The brightest light comes from a kind heart." The king handed Ethan a small crystal star. "So you will always remember your adventure." Soon it was time to return home. Ethan climbed the cloud staircase one last time. He waved goodbye to Sunny, Marshmallow, Shade, and all his new friends. The kingdom slowly disappeared among the clouds. When Ethan opened his eyes, he was back in his bedroom. Morning sunlight streamed through the window. For a moment he wondered if it had all been a dream. Then he noticed something shining on his bedside table, a tiny crystal star. Ethan smiled, and every night after that, whenever he looked at the clouds drifting across the sky, he remembered the magical kingdom above them, and he knew that kindness could brighten even the darkest places.